So let us prepare now for the time in our service where we turn our attention within. So I invite you, if you haven't already done so, to adjust your position in your seat and make yourself comfortable. Not so that you fall asleep, but so that you can relax completely and move into that still space within us. You may choose to close your eyes from outer distraction and just become aware of your breathing without changing it. Just notice how and where you're breathing. It may be shallow in your chest. You might even be holding your breath. Or it may be way down in your belly. Just notice. Notice the sounds around you and the temperature of the air as it touches your skin. Observe the feelings and sensations in your body and where in your body you are experiencing them. No judgment, simply awareness. Then let your next breath be deliberate, a deliberate, deep, cleansing breath. So that the air moves right down into your belly. And as you exhale, you let all the air out as slowly and fully as possible. Find your rhythm and breathe your way to stillness, breath by breath by breath. Letting go of the streaming thoughts across the mind, just noticing them, and then returning your attention to that deep breath. Completely letting go, completely surrendering to this moment as we rest in the stillness of the silence. In the silence. And now let yourself sink a little deeper. Let go some more. Surrender to this moment, knowing you are fully supported, fully sustained by that vibration of divine energy flowing through you now. Listen, trust, and rest in that place of security now, as once again we submerge our consciousness into the stillness of the silence. In the silence. And now we begin our journey back to this time and place in consciousness, aware again of our position in our seat, of the sounds around us, and the temperature of the air as it touches our skin. Aware of the gentle breath, that sense of security in the one, and the assurance that we can return to this place of safety, security, and support at any time. And so we bring our attention up behind the back of our eyes. And when you're ready, open your eyes to this moment and know that the presence of the divine is not an idea beyond us, but is within us and around us, ever available to us. And so it is. Namaste.
This song was inspired by a conversation my head had with my heart. It was the first time I had left my little boy to hold some babies in Russia. I thought, man, somebody needs to sing some hope. What's life really all about? But the moments that lead up to now, it's like a trail of photographs that answer when you ask, where does this life lead? The first step is so hard for some. Honor every single one, for your footprints on this road will always lead back home, no matter where you dream. And I'll sing you in the morning, sing you when you fall asleep, a very simple song you've sung into my heart. I'll sing back into your dreams, and I'll sing you in the evening. I'll sing you as you open your eyes. Welcome to this world, baby miracle. I love you, Hushabye, and I love you, lullaby. So what's love really all about? But the light that shines through shades of doubt. It's that passionate caress or the hand of tenderness that reaches where you are. And on every face a tear will run. Please know it falls for everyone. And it doesn't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek as you learn to live by heart. And I'll sing you in the morning, I'll sing you as you fall asleep, a very simple song you've sung into my heart. I'll sing back into your dreams, and I'll sing you in the evening. I'll sing you as you open your eyes. Welcome to this world, baby miracle, and I love you, Hushabye, and I love you, lullaby. Thank you very much.
Carrie Patrick Clark, thank you for sharing your gift of music with us and your inspiration. Could you feel that? That song? I have a girlfriend. I got in her car one time, and hanging from the rearview mirror was a little baby shoe. Just hanging there, like, you know how we all have our little tchotchkes up there, and there was a little baby shoe. And I thought about it, I saw it, I thought it was really sweet, and I said to her, "Whose shoe is that?" Because she didn't have a baby at the time. And she said, "It's mine. It's from when I was a little baby, and I keep it there to remind myself that life's all about baby steps." So she kept it there as a reminder of courage, as a reminder that she once couldn't even walk. Imagine if we all walked the planet with that gentleness and that loving kindness of baby steps, baby shoes, and lullabies. Imagine what kind of space that would be creating for ourselves and for each other. Think of a time you were really, really nourished, really, really supported, that even when you didn't believe in yourself, even when you didn't know if you could make it through or if you could do it or if you could overcome, there was someone that held the space for you and saw in you and sang to you a sweet lullaby. A song of truth and remembrance of who and whose you are. Can we approach life and each other with that type of care, love, and tenderness? Just imagine that support. I was recently at the Unity bookstore, and this has happened a couple times. I've gotten this sweet story. One of the women there who works at the coffee counter likes to share this. She said, "I love working at Unity." When you check in with her, "And how's your day? How's it going?" "I love working at Unity." She says, "No matter what, even if you really mess something up, you really mess up someone's drink, or they're having a bad day, or something goes wrong, the worst they do is put you on the prayer list." I just can't get over that one. The worst thing that happens, they come at you, they put you on the prayer list. Imagine that support. Imagine the support of lullabies, baby shoes, and prayer lists. How does that consciousness that we have transform our reality? Because sometimes when we grow up and we grow out of those baby shoes and no one's singing lullabies anymore, the world doesn't seem so soft. We don't tend to treat ourselves with that same kind of tenderness, and we don't always find that treatment of tenderness outside in the world around us. Conditions tend to get harsh and they tend to feel abrasive. In life, we sometimes get stuck. But the spiritual path is all about knowing that we have support. Faith, that conviction in mind, conviction in the unseen, knowing that even the most beautiful expressions of human support are simply glimmers. They are beautiful glimmers and manifestations, but they are minute even compared to the absolute fullness of the divine support that is supporting all beingness in every moment. And that's the spiritual path, is walking and demonstrating that truth, even when our eyes don't see it and our bodies can't feel it and our ears can't hear it. A support beyond what we could imagine. But the human journey, on the other hand, can be about walking in and out of an experience of that truth. It can be about a separation in consciousness from that experience, and sometimes a separation that is so deep and so complete that that consciousness feels unavailable to us, that consciousness of support. Joseph Campbell, who's done much work on the hero's journey and on the walk of archetypes, He says, it is by going down into the abyss that we recover the treasures of life. Where you stumble, there lies your treasure. So how do we support ourselves and how do we support each other when we're going into the abyss, when we're on the roller coaster of life, when we're in and out of the human experience that sometimes feels supported and sometimes does not? One of the first steps is to remember in every moment, wherever we are standing, that we belong. That we belong right where we are, and so does everyone else around us. That we belong, we are part of an infinite, magnificent structure and expression that is absolutely perfect, whole, and complete. Even in the face of knowing that it sometimes doesn't feel like that, do we stand in the presence of looking only with our physical eyes? Or do we remember that even in this moment, this very planet is spinning and moving through a galaxy? That it seems that there's stillness right here, but in fact, there is nothing still going on, and there is nothing solid. That's something that we know, but not from our eyes. It's an absolute miracle that we're not just flying off of our chairs right now. Because there's a lot of motion going on right now. But we are put right here in this place by divine appointment. Can we remember that we belong, that we are actually held in place by all that is holy and all that is sacred? In moments, we have a sense of aloneness. In moments, we have senses that things are not in order, that there is in fact chaos, and in moments we can have fear. This fear doesn't follow logical patterns. It's like a blink of an eye. We can close our eyes and remember that, yes, we are on a planet that is rotating and we are in movement, but right here it's still. It's that trick, that mental trick, and fear isn't rational. A sense of separation and a sense of isolation isn't rational. It's not something that can be reasoned with. It can feel real, though it's imagined. It can feel minute and it can feel massive. And there are moments when we try to apply logic to this fear mind, this sense of self that can move into chaos, and logic doesn't calm it down. On the human journey, sometimes we blow things out of proportion. Sometimes we have things that stop us in our tracks, that seem greater than anything we could ever imagine overcoming or moving through or living through. It is in those times that we can lean on each other. And not lean on each other in the way I've heard so many people say, I've given up on people. I've been crossed enough times, I've been let down enough times that I've learned not to rely on people. And in fact, in a lot of spiritual practices, we practice building up immunity to each other. Isn't that ironic? We really do. We practice being untouched by each other. Because the experience in the human condition of counting on each other and failing each other, or counting on ourselves and failing ourselves, leaves us wanting. But what can we rely on within each other? We can rely on that divinity, that love, that presence that expresses as the Most High in every moment, that is unfailing, because it's not about coming from who or where or when we want it and we thought it was going to come, but it's about trusting that God life is everywhere present and speaking in and through everyone and everything at all times. And if we are open and unattached, we will find that we can lean on our brothers and sisters, that we can lean on friendship, that we can lean on the everlasting arms, for in fact, they are the arms of all of us. They encompass us. I invite you to just take a moment and close your eyes if you would, and start tracing back to the last moment that comes to mind, the most recent, at a point where you felt scared. A moment where you may have felt alone. Just see how far back you have to go. Go back through the past few days. And go back even further and see if there are any other moments around that moment in the past weeks or months or year where you felt alone or scared. Think about how many times in one day, 1 week, 1 year. And just notice it. What does it feel like? Feel the raw emotion, the raw experience. And now imagine in this moment, holding yourself and being held in divine light. Imagine that all of a sudden, that you that has experienced this raw emotion is not your face anymore, it's someone else's face, anyone, any other face, another beloved, experiencing that emotion. And now imagine coming to them. Coming to them in their time of need with a lullaby, dangling the baby shoes, with a whisper of kindness. And now just imagine illumination surrounding both the experiencer and the nurturer. And bring your attention back to this moment. We sometimes forget how raw the human experience can be. We spend so much time practicing how to be spiritual, when in fact, often we're trying to learn how to be human. How to embrace our human self. And we sometimes forget that that experience that we have felt is felt by others, and that we walk around from day to day in a sea of beautiful beings doing the best they can do at showing up with everything they've got. So can we allow that remembrance to bring us into a sweet compassion and a gentleness that moves beyond circumstances and situations, relationships and experiences that may seem difficult. In fact, that are difficult. We're each walking a hero's journey, and when we acknowledge that walk, when we slow down enough to pause for it, a presence emerges. The other option is to walk around bouncing off pain bodies, increasing conflict, reacting to that which shows up as less than, making it more real, and in fact, building mountains out of molehills, when in fact, a moment of presence and a moment of love, no matter what is in front of us, no matter how difficult it might be, there is no thing we cannot bring God light to. There is no thing we cannot bring God mind to. There is no thing we cannot approach with the spirit of gentleness, whether it is within ourselves or whether it is within our community. Always remember who is in here and who is out there. Because as we walk this journey, we behold the presence of the divine in each other. And never, never underestimate the power of how you show up. We like feeling and thinking that we can become immune to each other. And of course, we have times when we need to build up our spiritual strength and call it forth from within us. And the Bible is full of stories. This sacred text is full of stories of people reaching higher. People trying to find better ways to work together, to love together, to intuit together, to create together, to feel together, to sing together. I think it's an illusion that we need to draw ourselves apart to feel more whole. There's a teaching about the bodhisattva. The bodhisattva is the idea that there is a beingness that will come back until the last one is enlightened, until the last one is freed, until the last one is lifted up. Sometimes in this human conditions, we think if I can get enough for me, I can be separate from all the pain outside of me. But you know, even if you're the richest person in the world and there is such a great diversity between the rich and the poor, that rich person has to live still in the consciousness of the poor, right? And what it creates when people live in fear and lack. And we cannot separate ourselves from that consciousness. We can build up from a spiritual reservoir within and spread a positive consciousness of abundance, love, peace, harmony. But it's ours to demonstrate it as well. If you've heard of the butterfly effect, you know that is the idea and the true scientific experience where even the flapping of the wings of a butterfly in one area can change the course of a weather in another. Can in fact change a hurricane, change a tornado, be a part of it happening or not happening. That scientific experience of the butterfly effect is the experience that we have with each other. We can either be a blessing or we can be a seeming curse that one has to overcome and try to get immunity. Are we here to become immune to each other, or are we here to lift each other up? I was at the grocery store about a month ago, and I was waiting in line, and there was an elderly woman in line in front of me. And the woman at the register just really slowed down for her. She was checking out her goods and talking to her. And this conversation ensued back and forth about coupons, and she was helping her with her coupons and clipping some out for her, going through which ones are expired and which ones aren't. And it was as if the world stopped. It was as if the world stopped. And I just watched what was going on as she was going through each one and saying, well, this one's already expired, but this one you can put back in your purse for another time. And the woman wasn't clear about what time of day it was. She was saying something about it being dark outside, but it was really light outside. So the woman at the cash register was really just checking in with her to make sure she's okay. And the process took a while. And if you were in a hurry, you could be frustrated by that process, right? And when I got up to line after this woman left, I said to the cashier, I said to her, that was one of the most beautiful and one of the most amazing things I have seen. And thank you for showing up like that, because it makes a difference to me. That's the kind of world I want to live in. I want to live in a world where someone stops for someone else and presences them. Because it doesn't matter how big or how small we think our role may be, we have no idea the effect and the difference we can make to one human being, whether it's a word or it's a smile or it's stopping to completely presence each other. We have no idea how significant we are. As I moved through the line, the woman explained to me. She said, I have no family of my own. I have no family of my own. And she said, I treat everyone as if they're my family. And I treat that woman as if she's my grandmother. Because to me, she is my grandmother. This is at the freaking grocery store. I'm telling you, I had a day, I had to be in the womb that day. And that may seem crazy, but I was so touched and so moved. And it was a day that was just one little piece of the picture. It was one after another of these incredible experiences and these stories. And I was just raw with feeling how amazing human beings can be when they connect. The woman at the line, she kept telling me about how she does those deliver meals, Meals on Wheels, how she does that to connect. And I started thinking in my mind, my little fear thoughts of coming up in my mind of who's going to take care of her? Do I be her family? How do we do this? And all that racing of knowing how amazing it is that she's presencing someone else, not knowing or whether or not that woman has a million people to take care of her or not doing it because she doesn't have family, but doing it because of the consciousness that's born in her that says, you are my sister, you are my brother, we are all one. And you can take 1 second and get into a whole fear thought about this world that we live in and think it's not going to work, we're not doing it so well. Or you can pause for a moment and see the power of the human spirit and recognize that there is only really one thing that has to happen. And that one thing is to know that I am you and you are me and we are all one, and let nothing come between me and this truth. So this week and this month and this lifetime, I encourage each one of us to reach out, to recognize that life is full of divine appointments, for us to be open and ready to release any preconceived notion about why we are where we are standing in every single moment and take that which is before us. Divine appointments, think of those words, divine appointments. Divine means that it is from God, devoted to the supreme, to the highest and the holiest beingness. It is designated. It's a designated divine time. A mutually agreed upon appointment. We never know how custom made we are for everything that is in front of us. Let me say that again. For everything that is in front of us. We are custom made. Never underestimate the value of a smile, a word, a hug. In a poem by James Dillett Freeman, Unity's poet, in What is a Minister, he says this: what does it mean to be a minister? He said, it means to be God-centered and human-hearted, to involve yourself in man's humanity and keep your vision on man's divinity. We are all here to be ministers. Let us remember all of the moments where we could each say, if it wasn't for blank, I wouldn't have blanked. If it wasn't for someone, I wouldn't have been here. If it wasn't for that day, I wouldn't have done this. If it wasn't for that smile, have you ever had a moment where you're in such a space of needing to see God and needing to see love that it doesn't matter if you're at the checkout station, it doesn't matter where you are, just the littlest smile that someone else may not even think was important just filled you up like a beam of light and gave you what you needed to keep going. You are a minister. We are all ministers. We are all living expressions and here to be safe harbors. So let us honor that practice of beholding the love within each other and being a safe space as we all unfold and develop on the road to being human. Namaste. So it's a time in our service that we circulate. So if you would take your tithes and offerings and bless them in your hands, and we will know our offertory statement that is in your bulletin. I'll know it first and we'll know it together. It is divine love through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
light shining through the window, cutting through the night, calling me a Kango, feels like iron, keeping me from flying. I'm in a dark so deep, feeling like a prison, I get no sleep, clouding up my vision, see no way out, different shades of doubt. Everybody has at times, everybody needs at times, everybody wonders just what it means. Everybody laughs at times, everybody cries at times, everybody wants to find some meaning on the road to human being. Feels so great, can't help but smile, and the laughter aches and it turns right into crying. Why is that so? I don't know. I got a heart that beats for my wife and 3 boys. The music keeps a memory of my joys. I thank my God, such a lucky sod. Everybody has at times, everybody needs at times, everybody wonders just what it means. Everybody laughs at times, everybody cries at times, everybody wants to find some meaning on the road to human being. If I could tell the world life's been repeating, boys and girls, don't you stop believing what ain't true. Live from the heart of you, because life is like a ride, rolling like a coaster, side to side, one up and down, get close to where you hang your hat. Live a life like that. Everybody has a time, everybody needs a times, and everybody wonders just what it means. Everybody laughs at times, everybody cries at times, everybody wants to find some meaning on the road to human being.
So you can see Carrie after the service at